Hi guys, what we're going to do today is we're going to do the chapter 10 notes. If you haven't done so already, I want you to go ahead and I want you to download these notes. They are in Schoology. So pause the video and go ahead and download them, and then you can restart it. So what we're going to do next is perimeter and area problems. It's the start of chapter 10. First, we're going to start with perimeter, and then tomorrow I'm going to start going over area with you. So first of all, what perimeter is perimeter is the distance around a polygon. So if you go around the outside of a polygon, that would be your perimeter. There are perimeter formulas for each of the shapes, but if you forget the formula, you can always just take the sides and add them all together. I'm going to try and straighten that out for you a little. There you go. So for the perimeter of a square, many of you might be familiar with the formula. The formula for a perimeter of a square is 4 times the side. Or if you think about it, if you take all the sides and add them together, s plus s plus s plus s equals 4s. Now think about a rectangle for a second where both pair of opposite sides are congruent and your lengths are the same and your widths are the same. So that formula is 2 length plus 2w. Again, what you could do though is you could add together all 4 sides. So first question on here says, what formula for perimeter could you write for a regular heptagon or regular decagon? So hopefully you remember what a heptagon is. A heptagon has 7 sides. So for a regular heptagon, we're assuming that all the sides are the same. So the perimeter for a heptagon, since it has 7 sides, the perimeter would be 7s. Okay? And we could do the same thing for a decagon. Okay? 10 sides, so the perimeter would be 10 times the side. Perimeter, since we're going around the outside of the figure and it's a sum of all the sides, okay, it is measured in what we call a linear unit. So I'm going to highlight that for you. Linear unit. Okay, another way to think of that is like your standard unit. So like inches, feet, miles. Okay, so that's what perimeter is measured in. Now we're going to go to the next page. And we're going to go through some examples here. So I'm going to skip around a little just so you guys can see a little bit of each type of question. So if we start with the first one, letter A, find the perimeter of each of the following. A square with a side of 17 inches. So I'm going to draw out my square here. The side is 17 inches. Okay, so again, like we said before, we have 2 options here. We can use the perimeter formula, which is 4s. And we can plug in 17, and 4 times 17 is going to be 68 inches. Your other option here, if you want to, you could do 17, 17, 17, 17. Hey, and we can take it and we could do 17 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17, and that would get us the same perimeter of 68. Okay, so whichever way you want to do it, that's fine. Just make sure that if you're going to use adding all the sides together, make sure that if it's a 4-sided figure, if it's a quadrilateral, make sure that you add together 4 of its sides. So let's go down to B to get a different shape in there. So this is a rectangle. The rectangle has a length of 12.3 and a width of 7.8. So this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to forget that there's 2 widths and 2 lengths here. So make sure you have all 4 sides there. Okay, so your perimeter for a rectangle is twice the length plus twice the width. So twice 12.3 plus twice 7.8. So when you multiply it out, we get 24.6 plus 15.6. Okay, and then when you add them together, you're going to end up with a perimeter of 40.2 centimeters. Okay, again, if you want, you could take it and you can add together 12.3 plus 12.3 plus 7.8 plus 7.8. Okay, that is always an option. Going down to the next one so that we could get a little bit of each shape in here. The next one is a rhombus. Okay, so the rhombus has a side of 2.5 feet. So remember, we just spent all that time going over the properties for each of the quadrilaterals. Okay, so this has a rhombus with a side of 2.5 feet. Remember, all the sides of a rhombus are the same. So it's going to be 4 times the side, or 2.5, plus 2.5, plus 2.5, plus 2.5. Okay, and you get a perimeter of 10 feet. Okay, so hopefully you guys are good with that. The next one is a triangle. I'm going to have you guys work on that for homework. There's an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, an isosceles trapezoid with a base of 32 and 45 and congruent legs of 27. So I just want to go ahead and draw that one out. So the bases, remember those are your parallel sides, are 32 and 45, and your legs, it's an isosceles triangle, are 27. Okay, so this actually, we'll go over this one because this is a good one to go over. You're going to take your sides and you're going to just add them together like you would any other quadrilateral. Okay, so we have 32 plus 27 plus 45 plus 27, and we end up with 131. Okay, there is no unit here. They don't say like inches or anything like that, so we could just write units. That's fine. So that would be our perimeter for the isosceles trapezoid. So now, this is going to get a little trickier here. So we always have to keep in mind that we're doing perimeter. So we're looking at the outside of the shape. So if we look at F, a right triangle with legs of 15 and 8. So the first thing we're going to have to do here is we are going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem to find out what the hypotenuse is. Okay, that way we're able to then add the three sides of the triangle together to get the perimeter. So 8 squared plus 15 squared is going to equal that hypotenuse. Okay, 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225. Okay, so that's going to give us 289. So your hypotenuse is going to be 17. Okay, you might have known that from your Pythagorean triples, which is great. If you remembered that, you can use that. That's fine with me. Okay, now remember, we're not looking for the hypotenuse here. Yes, we need that information, but we're looking to find out what the perimeter is. So your last part there is going to be to take your three sides, 17, 15, and 8, and add them together. So 17 plus 15 plus 8 is going to give you a perimeter of 40 centimeters for that right triangle. Okay, I'm going to go over G, and then we're going to skip down to the next page. So for G, a regular nonagon. So if it is a regular shape, you assume all 9 sides are congruent. So you would take your side, which is 8.23, and plug it in. Okay, you are definitely going to need your calculators for these, especially when we get back and you have a test or quiz or for the trimester exam. Okay, so 74.07 is going to be your perimeter here, and it was measured in feet. Okay, so now we're going to switch them up a little, and we're going to make them more like ones where you're missing some information or you're given the perimeter and you have to find the sides. So if you go to the next page, letter I, we have a square with a diagonal equal to 4 radical 2. So I'm going to draw that out. So what you want to do here, it's perimeter. So we need to find out what the sides are. That's going to be the main thing we need first before we try and figure anything else out. So if you remember, hopefully, just to make it a little bit easier for you, sorry, I was trying to zoom in there, your 45, 45, 90 rules. Okay. Because it's a square, we know the sides are the same and that they are consecutive sides are perpendicular. Okay, so that makes it a 45, 45, 90. Okay, so remember for a 45, 45, 90, your sides, if we take it and we multiply by radical 2, it gives us the hypotenuse. Okay, so if the hypotenuse is 4 radical 2, that means the sides are 4. So that is how we would get the sides for this square. So our perimeter for the square would be 16 units. Now, last one here that I want to go over that's similar to these is the rhombus. Okay, so J is a rhombus question. Your diagonals, sorry, they're not exactly straight. Okay, your diagonals here are going to be 8 and 6. There we go. So you guys are going to finish this one for homework. I just wanted to get you started. Okay. Think about the fact that we know, since this is a parallelogram, that the diagonals bisect each other. That means that they hit at the midpoint. So if the whole thing is 6, that means this part is 3 and this part is 3. Okay. This would be 4 and this would be 4. Now remember the other thing that we know, we also know that because it's a rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular. That means they're all right. Okay, so that should help you figure out what the sides are, and then you'll find the perimeter. All right, I just figured I'd help get that set up for you. Okay, so next is taking this and putting it into algebraic terms. Okay, so some of these, you'll see the directions say that find the perimeter of each of the following in terms of an algebraic expression. That means that these are going to get left as algebraic expressions, meaning they're going to have an x with them. So we're going to go down to B. A rectangle has a length of 2x plus 7 and a width of x plus 3. So if we take our formula, or we add all the sides together, whichever you prefer, we get 4x plus 14 plus 2x plus 6. Combine your like terms, and you get 6x plus 20. And that's how you'll leave it. You'll leave it with the variable. Now, going down to the last page. So for the last page, number 3 says find the length of a side of each of the following given its perimeter. Some answers will be left as an algebraic expression. So they're giving you something with an x, then you know it's going to be left as an algebraic expression. So let's skip down to C. A square has a perimeter of 183.5 feet. So the perimeter of a square is 183.5. So 183.5 feet equals 4 times the side, since the square has 4 equal sides. So if we take 183 and divide it by 4, each side is going to be 45.875. Okay, it'll be in feet. Now, I'm going to go over letter D with you as well, because letter D is really a tricky one. Okay, it is going to be left as an algebraic expression because we don't have enough information here to figure it out. So I thought this would be one that would be important to go over. So find the width if the perimeter of a rectangle is 44. So the perimeter equals twice the length plus twice the width. We know that the perimeter is 44, so we're going to plug that in first. Remember that we're finding the width. So anytime you're finding something, that's what you want to get by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide everything by 2. So 44 divided by 2 is 22. 2L divided by 2 is L. 2W divided by 2 is W. And the last thing to get that length by itself, to get the width by itself would be to subtract the length, put the wrong sign there, subtract the length, 22 minus L equals the width. Okay, and that's how we would leave it. We don't have enough information to write it. Otherwise, we can't get it down to a number since we don't know what the length is. So that would be the answer for 3D. Right, so what we're going to do, the rest of this is going to be your homework. Okay, I will tomorrow post all the answers for you, all the work, so that if you have any questions, I will be happy to go over it with you. All right, and I hope everyone is doing well and you guys have a good day.